Hello, Internet, Sir Mutton Chops here. Welcome back. We're in Frontier Mountains, headed to Dreadlands, and I'm trying to get my bearings. Not very easy in this zone, as everything looks the same. You go left, you go right, it all looks the same, but I have my live cloak, and as you can see, it isn't working properly. I've got a wardrobe malfunction. When I have fraps running, it makes me sink pretty rapidly, so I just want to go ahead and show you that. But I'm still floating, still, walking on air. But yeah, I'm looking around for my group mates here. I got invited. Took me a little bit of time. Had some real life things going on. But yeah, I've got sense heading working, sort of, kind of working. And I also got aggro there. Thankfully, I have Feign Death. Otherwise, I would have died plenty of times in the zone. There's just so many wandering mobs. It is clusterfuck, but yeah, and people like using cardinal directions. They like saying, oh, well, you go to the north side, or you go to this side. Why don't you just do it the old, redneck way? It's just tell me there's a fence, with a boot on one of the fence posts. Give me some kind of visual. I need the visual. But there aren't really many visuals here. The two Ixar statues you'll find in the zone off to the side of Carnor's Castle, they point to Furoneve zone area. It's a little tunnel, so just kind of a heads up for anyone who's never been in this zone. Look for that. But other than that, there really isn't much in the way of visual directions. You just kind of have to wing it. Carnor's Castle is a good kind of milestone, a little area you can figure out where you are. But yeah, I got in a group, not a full group, but we're still here. Gonna do a head count real quick. Obviously, Tolsumer is the ranger. He's from previous episodes. Mefoot is, well, he's a monk. He's an Ixar monk. I won't hold it against him, though, but he's a monk nonetheless, and pretty well equipped. I don't know how he's using two-hand blunt with all this going on. I could barely get hits off with one-hand blunt. Just have a hard time keeping in that hitbox area. Of course, I am in F9, so to my credit, I am making it harder on myself. And then Death Dove, who is our necromancer. So we're pretty well set. We don't have any heals, really. I guess Tolsumer can kind of heal. It's a gimped form of healing, but well, in a pinch, it'll get the job done, I guess. And we're gonna continue on with this. Now, this zone is kind of fun. For me, it was a lot of fun originally. Like I don't know, the first 3 times I went there, and then afterwards, it kind of got into the same kind of role. It's like, okay, well, I know what I'm doing here. I can do it with one eye open. Most of the time, that's the way it was anyway. I was in a haze of sleeplessness and staring at my computer screen late into the night. But yeah, like I said, the first few times I spent here, lots of fun. Especially later on when I was actually pooling, because it's a lot of fun weaving through all those different mobs and then kind of, I don't know, directing traffic, getting your mob over to the platform, because that's the goal. As soon as you get the mob to the platform, you have somebody fear it. I don't care if it's an intimidation or anything else, because by then you'll have somebody already having snared the mob, so everything should be set. You don't want to probably fear it before the snare, though. That's just probably ill-advised. But yeah, as you can see, it's very easy. Even if you just have somebody snare it and then kind of walk it around, then you're good, because you just get behind it and beat on it, and it should be dead in no time. There are a few hazards of the zone, one of them being trains, and you will get them from left to right. Very rarely will somebody come head-on at you, and more rare still will somebody announce it, it seems. I don't know why, but yeah, on this server, I believe it's everyone trains to the right. So if you're going to go to Carnor's Castle, train to the right into the zone, and if you're in Carnor's Castle, you train to the right going out of the zone. Just kind of a heads up there. I may be wrong, so you might want to check on the forums. I don't don't quote me on that. I don't want people getting pissed off, because they will get pissed. It is a sure thing, but we only got trained here a couple times, and we derailed both of them, so we felt like bosses. And a little drama going on with that, but for the most part, everything was fun, fine, and dandy. And, well, as you can see here, even when you intimidate on the platform, occasionally they will meander off into the trafficked area. Not really that good, so I go ahead and throw on some more intimidation. It's fine. If somebody else fears it, though, like your necromancer or somebody, intimidation has a shorter duration. It kind of nixes the whole fear cast thing, so might not want to use it too much. We did have problems with that in the past in Frontier Mountains when we had, like, I don't know, I think it was like 3 monks and one fear casting player, and it was just nuts because all of us monks were just constantly intimidating the mob, and the casters getting kind of frustrated because they felt like they couldn't do anything. So yeah, you got to kind of watch out for that. But well, basically in this group, that's all we're doing. We're just intimidating the hell out of this mob, and having the ranger run around. So he can throw in some DPS when we get it feared, but for all intents and purposes, it's time to snare the mob and run. Now, also in this zone, unfortunately, at this time, in this footage, gem encrusted rings no longer dropped. Now, they very rarely dropped off of giants, I'm told, and according to the wiki, that is the case. It was changed later on to kind of keep in line with the whole Kunark timeline. So yeah, they no longer drop. Now, if you're not aware of the stats, I'll leave a link in the description below, but I believe it was 10 AC and 7 strength for one ring. So yeah, if you're a monk, having one of those, pretty bitchin'. You can't really beat that, can you? No, you can't. Even those wedding rings, I forget what they're called, but they're crafted, and they have like 55 hit points and then a certain amount of AC. They're pretty nice. Even those just aren't as good in my opinion. So yeah, and I don't even know how much those go for on the in the old EC tunnel. I'm not too sure. I'm sure it'll say in wiki though. Pretty expensive, no doubt, considering the fact that they no longer drop. But anyhow, yeah, we're going to continue on killing voracious brutes, cockatrices, if that's how you pronounce that. Drovlargs, I don't know how to pronounce their names, but yeah, they drop fangs. I believe those are for a faction quest. Pretty good faction quest for anyone who's not an Ixar. I haven't done it yet. Probably could at my level now. Maybe even possible at this level in the footage. But yeah, I'm a little tentative right here. I don't want to get any more aggro from mobs. Probably should have followed it, but like I said, this is my first foray into the zone. Not too sure what the aggro range is on all these mobs here. And I don't want to be the one to make everything go to shit. But anyway, he's down anyhow. He's gone. He's gone kaput. And we've already got another mob here. Tolsimer did a great job at pulling. Kept all the mobs flowing. Now, there's a problem with doing all this, especially if you're like a monk. We were on the other end of the wall, closer to the entrance of Karnors. A couple... Well, I want to say a couple levels from now. I think it was level 42 or so. And the problem was that I kept pulling all these mobs. I think it was a little bit later than that. Yeah, it was like 44. I kept pulling all these mobs to the area, to the wall. But when I went out to go get one, the mob I previously pulled was still getting beat on, because that's the way you pull. You want to have a constant flow of XP. And the problem was that I was pulling from way too far away. So actually, there's a range for where you no longer get XP if the mob dies. And I just wasn't getting XP for like... God, I think it was like an hour, and so everyone else was getting really good experience, and I was not getting any. I mean, on top of that, you're not going to be getting any loot, really, unless occasionally you stop, you're pulling, and you really quickly right-click, but usually by then, all the mobs are gone. So, yeah, it's kind of a thankless job. You're going to have to be on your toes and constantly pulling. I would suggest staying well within your group's range. You do have a pretty good buffer zone, but you got to stay in that green zone there. And as you can see, I'm drinking some Skull Ale. Yeah, I made some of that earlier. It wasn't very efficient. I think I had 40 fails or 30 something fails and only 2 successes, but whatever. It was fun to try, and I skilled up a couple times, so not the most efficient way of brewing, but I still did it nonetheless. Now I can make heady Keolas and all that, so I did it the proper way later on. All you out there who are pulling your hair out, what the hell? That's a level something brewing skill thing, craftable item. You can tell how unnerdy I am sometimes by my nerd speak. It just lacks entirely. But I'm still kind of a goober, I guess. At least I was in the past. And yeah, we're gonna continue on with this. Now, I believe the monk is using... Is he using a Woo's Trance Stick? I can't tell. There's way too many spell effects. That's the problem. Spell effects can cause a lot of confusion and a lot of lag. It's hard to see sometimes when you got so much going on there in just one little screen. And you already have your UI up and everything, that whole interface, and it's just not a lot of room to see stuff. But no, he's got a Knuckle Duster and a Jade Mace. Very good combination of weapons there. I used it later on to great effect. And I don't know what Tolsimer has. It looks like Lamentations. Actually, wait, I'm using it too. Shit. I'm using knuckle dusters and a jade mace. So we're both wielding the same combo, which is nice. It's nice to see that. For once, I've done something correct. A lot of people like using adamantite clubs. Now, during this footage, they were a little too expensive. Now I believe they're down to 7K or 8K. That's well within my price range now. I probably would have been able to even afford it during this time of this footage, but yeah, they were pretty expensive back in the day. Back in the day being like, what, a month ago, 2 months ago? But the prices dropped, along with the price for FBSs. So, pretty good time to be a monk. Pretty good time to be... Not a good time to be a seller. Just not. I believe even belts of the Cenobite have gone down quite a bit as well. I remember them being like 1 or 2K not too long ago. And now you can find them for like 600 sometimes. So yeah, a lot of prices dropping. I'm not too sure if mudflation is going on. I'd like to think not, but there's a lot of farmers out there. Lots of farmer Freds. Lots of people that think, oh, well, I'm farming. I'm having fun. There's going to be no end to this. Well, I beg to differ. I beg to differ. Your little fun train will be derailed soon enough. Anyhow, yeah, this is much the same. There's going to be 4 parts to this, but don't worry. I'm going to intermittently put a little bit of WC footage in there. I did actually meander off. I didn't consistently stay here and grind. I went to other places, and one of them was the WC toll booth, because I remember from way back when seeing all kinds of casters over there hunting the guards, and I always thought that was just so badass. To kill guards, very cool. Even later on, it kind of sucked, though, because I believe they buffed up, they being the powers that be, the unnamed company, buffed up the entrance guards to the cities, so basically making it, pretty impossible for people to hunt them. But I guess that was kind of good, so that the newbies could be spared corpse runs and lots of death. But, well, anyway, I remember seeing people killing all those guards there, and I never saw any melees really doing it, unless they were duoed up with somebody else. So I thought, I wonder if it's possible to split pool those two guards at the toll booth and kill them as a melee. And in fact, it is. It's not really all that great, but if you're semi-AFK, you're doing homework, or you got some house chores or what have you, go ahead and do it. It actually is pretty viable. I had a lot of fun. It's just really cool. You're killing guards, and then occasionally like a newbie will run by and like, what the hell is going on here? And you can also kind of, well, I won't say be a jerk, but you can kind of get them going. You say, you want to loot? And they're like, yeah, and they get like a measly two silver pieces and a rusty sword, because the guards there don't drop anything really. Occasionally you might just get a regular short sword which sells for a couple platinum. And after playing my little joke on the newbie, I would give him that, but just so you don't think I'm an entire ass. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. You get some pretty good experience. I was actually able to take both of them on eventually. I think they were still conning blue. I was able to take them both out in one fell swoop. Obviously I would have to split pull them, but after killing one, I just go on to the other one. So a lot of fun. And if you want, you can kill the dark elf that's near there. I forget his name right now, but he's that Shadow Knight that spawns near there and drops some kind of note for some quest. I don't know what it's for, but yeah, it's a pretty interesting weird note. And yeah, that's WC for you. So that's coming up, but for right now, it's going to be at least a couple episodes of this. And yeah, I had a lot of fun here. Now, obviously, Gornir also spawns in this zone. That's the other hazard. And unless TMO's, letting her stay up like they did recently, you're not going to have to be, bothered with her. I don't even think she ventures this far. She has a path near the tunnel that leads out from the porting area, wherever that's called. That little hidden valley. Yeah. Isn't that like a brand for jelly or something? Hidden Valley? I don't know. Maybe it's like ranch dressing. Something like that. Anyway, yeah, we're still killing these. Now, these hit really hard. Drovlargs, yeah, if that's how you pronounce it. The doggies, yeah, they hit really hard. I believe I was reading up on the Raster camp, which I have to do here soon enough. I've been putting it off. I don't want to have to camp Raster of Guck, but I'm gonna. I just got help with the other guy, Targin the Rock, thankfully. Oh my god, I kept missing looting rates on that guy, and I kept missing spawns on that guy, just like everyone else kept getting them. And I'd show up and I'd wait, and some monk was power leveling somebody else, some level 60 monk was power leveling, and I'm there all night, and he just does not spawn, so I'm just like, hell with it. So anyway, I finally got that, but yeah, I was reading up on the Raster spawn and all that fun stuff. And apparently the minos there are pretty much like drovlargs, so I'm gonna be in for a nice little treat. At least that's what the person who wrote all the information said. So, well, I'll see how it goes. I think they're a little bit less in levels, so hopefully that won't be too hard. But yeah, that's also gonna be some footage. It's not gonna be me just staring at a wall though. I'm gonna probably have to do some editing there because nobody wants to watch somebody, camp something for God knows how many hours. Oh God, I hope it's just gonna be. Oh, jeez. I hope it's just going to be a few hours. I've heard of people getting really good luck on that. And actually, somebody in my guild, Dyneer, lucked out, and they were hunting minos. And Raster just spawned, and nobody was camping him. And so he got the code, the drop. And yeah, I went and hung myself in a shower stall. Eventually, to decide that life was somewhat worth living, and I gave up. But well, certainly not worth living because of the camp that I have to take up with Raster. And it's just every monk's nightmare, the bane of monk existence, I should say. But yeah, we've got we've got a feared drovlog here, and he's going all over the place, trying to land some snares on him. They do seem to be somewhat resistant, as do giants. And there's actually a really big one here. I think it's like a giant patriarch or something like that. This guy has tons of hit points, just out the wazoo. I'm not joking. I think we were kiting him for a good 3 or 4 minutes, and I was beating down on him. I was beating him off. Yeah, that doesn't sound right at all. But yeah, I was absolutely taking him down. And I think it was just me and Tulsimer, actually. We were just duoing, but it just took forever. The guy has tons of hit points. And he dropped something that I believe warriors need. So if you have a warrior in your group and you see one, go ahead and pull it. Let them know beforehand, because that bad boy has tons of hit points. And nobody's going to want to take that on if they don't have any mana. So yeah, you got to be on your toes. You got to be ready for things. Actually, I believe we got like a skeleton, some kind of, I don't know, warbone skeleton or something that was near here, and those are pretty rare. They don't drop anything, I don't think, but it was just weird to see it. We're just like, what the hell? Usually it's just the monkeys, and the drovlargs, and the cockatrices, and the giants. That's pretty much all you have to contend with in this zone, at least in this area. Nobody really bothers with those drachnids. We just really didn't. Occasionally we'd kill one or two if there wasn't much up, but yeah, this is just ill-advised. They cast poison. They're annoying. They're just annoying all around. And I believe they can even see invis. So for anyone trying to get to here from Fioronia Bay, gonna have to do some weaving. But yeah, it's actually kind of fun to pull from here. It's like fishing, you have to reel in the good ones, and you have to deal with some other groups. A lot of times you'll have lines of people along this ledge here, along this platform, and so you kind of have to, I don't know, work around them. I think once we had 2 or 3 other groups that were along this wall, and you'll have some in other spots around Carnor's castle. And so yeah, you're going to have to, watch out for them, make sure that they don't get too much on their hands. For the most part, everyone kind of watched out for each other. So if somebody had too much, we would go over there, throw some DPS in. If we perhaps got too much, not that we did, because our puller was a boss, but if we did, somebody came over and helped. A lot of times people just come over and help anyway. They just throw some DPS in as they're passing by. So that's kind of cool. But along that same line, actually, the other day I was in East Commonlands, and I was going by the orc camps, as I do, just to see if Lord Shenri was up. A lot of newbies have problems with him, and I did in the past, so I like to get some revenge on him. But yeah, I was going to go ahead and kind of semi-power level this person that was just kind of sitting there, killing mobs. They were just soloing it, sort of, picking them off one by one. And they kindly refused me, and I was not offended. Actually, it made me think, because they wanted to get that whole experience of old Everquest back, and I definitely can understand that. I remember when I first started out, people were just trying to throw things on me. And the first few times I refused them. I was like, no, that's okay, thank you. And they're like, well, you're going to be sorry when you have to buy spells. And I'm like, well, I know, but I'd rather be sorry now than to be sorry later. I like to have the same experience. But eventually I took them up on their offers and I accepted. Kind of feel bad about that, actually, because I wanted to have that whole experience. And maybe I'll start a character from scratch again, just to kind of have that classic feel. But yeah, this person said no thanks, but no thanks. And I respect that. I like that. I think a lot of people are very quick to take a handout. Not to put them down, I being one of them, but there's also a slight problem on this server. Occasionally, people do like to beg, and they get pretty dogged. They get trolled hard. Because I think the problem with begging and the problem with I don't know, expecting something from people just because you're new, just because you're having it hard, is you eventually get this sense of entitlement. And in life, in real life, nobody's really entitled to anything. You're not entitled to respect. You're not entitled to money. You're not entitled to really anything. You could put in all the work you want into something and still fail. And that's just the way life goes sometimes. And you got to pick yourself back up somehow and, try again. And that's just like kind of like video games, unless you die and then you can't try again. You don't get very many lives in life. Occasionally you'll get second chances though. But yeah, that's definitely something to consider. I definitely have to rethink my my overkindness, because it actually is kind of detrimental. It can change this server's overall feel, and it can ruin people's experiences. You may have really good intentions, but is that really going to help someone? Is that really going to be beneficial in the end? It's making me think. I may not power level people anymore. I kind of felt dirty about it to begin with. It's fun. It's definitely a challenge, and that's what I liked about it. Having to feign death right before and trying to get the mob down to like 1%, and then the person get all experience. But I'm kind of conflicted about it. If it's to help a guildie who's wanting to get into raids, okay, I can see that. But I don't know. I think that if you're going to have a main character, you should earn it the hard way. You'll appreciate your character more. You'll have a lot more fun, I guarantee you. And you'll definitely know how to play your character. Know how to play your cast. Your cast? Know how to play your oh, God, I can't speak today. Your class. There's an L in there somewhere. That horrible L in that word. Yeah, know how to play your blah, 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 blah. Alright, I'm done talking. This video is almost over anyway. I'm going to go and try to learn my own language from my country. Whichever country I'm from, whichever country will accept me, because apparently I'm an embarrassment to all countries everywhere. And yeah, I don't even think Freeport will have me back. Actually, I know they won't, because I ruined my faction there. That's the thing. They changed the faction. I wasn't intending to actually ruin my Freeport faction, but they changed it somewhere like a month ago or 2 months ago, or was it 3? I don't know. It was like in January. They changed the factions settings there and everywhere else. So if you ruined your faction just a little bit, it ruined it a lot. If you did something, it made it more effective. Like, just impacted it. What is it, a dog? Well, there's a lot of dogs around here. Maybe that's what I'm thinking. But no, it impacted it even more. So it just made it that much more extreme. So I showed up to Freeport one day, and I was like really dubiously, and I think I was ready to attack to some of the mobs there, some of the guards or something. I don't know what. So I just decided to hell with it. So I just started killing guards. So that's why my Freeport faction is God. Alright, I'm done. Screw it. I'm not talking anymore. I'll see you all later. Thank you for watching and trying to understand the words that are coming out of my mouth. I'm done. I'm going to go and have a gelato or something. Oh, real quick. Thank you all for the input in the last video. It was really cool. And take care.